There's a stone marker on a hillside in Japan. It doesn't list names, it doesn't tell a story, it doesn't explain itself. It just says, "Don't build below this point." For generations, people listened, and then they didn't. And when the water came back, the stone was still right where it had always been. The stone isn't dramatic. No flames, no waves carved into it, no poetry, just a boundary. It sits above a coastline, far enough up a hill that it feels almost unnecessary, especially if you don't know what put it there in the first place. From below, it can look excessive. From above, it looks obvious. That's the thing about warnings like this. They don't feel urgent when they're doing their job. The message isn't complicated. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't plead. Translated to English, it says something like, "Do not build below this point." No dates, no footnotes, no explanation of what happens if you ignore it. Just a line drawn by people who had already seen what crossed it at least once before. For a long time, that was enough. Because the strange thing about this stone isn't who carved it. It's how long it stayed right. That line wasn't theoretical. In at least one village, the warning had been ignored long enough to feel outdated. Homes crept downhill, roads followed, daily life settled comfortably below the marker. Then in 2011, the tsunami arrived. The water did exactly what the stone had warned it would do. Nearly everything below the marker was swept away. Houses, streets, routines built on the assumption that this time would be different. Above the stone, much of the village remained standing. The stone didn't survive by chance. It survived because it was right. There's a problem with warnings that work. They don't leave fresh evidence of why they were made. When a boundary holds, when the water doesn't reach the houses, when the hillside stays dry, nothing dramatic happens to reinforce why the line exists in the first place. Over time, the warning starts to feel less like wisdom and more like habit. Researchers who study disasters have noticed a pattern. Collective memory fades faster than the risks that created it, usually within 2 or 3 generations. Long enough for the stories to soften, long enough for the details to blur, long enough for the last first-hand witness to be gone. What replaces memory isn't ignorance per se, it's misplaced confidence. The kind that assumes we've improved on whatever problem someone else has already paid for. The coastline looks peaceful. The land below the marker is flatter, easier to build on, closer to the water, valuable. And as the years pass without another catastrophe, the warning starts to feel abstract, like it belongs to a different time, a different set of circumstances. That's when boundaries begin to move. Not all at once, not recklessly, just a little lower, then a little more. Each new structure feels reasonable on its own. After all, nothing bad has happened recently, and that's the trap. When danger doesn't repeat on a human timetable, it starts to feel theoretical. The stone doesn't argue with that assumption. It doesn't update itself. It doesn't care about property values or good intentions. It just keeps marking the place where memory once became reality. Not every stone like this is so spare. Some carry dates. Some carry names. Some mark how high the water reached the last time it came through. few read less like warnings and more like memorials, quiet records of who didn't make it to higher ground. Together, they form a kind of system. One stone draws a boundary. Another preserves a memory. Another records loss. None of them are ornamental. They were written to outlast the messenger. In modern terms, we might call that redundancy. They were durable storage systems. Stone is an odd choice for communication. It's slow, heavy, difficult to work with, and almost impossible to revise, which is exactly why it was used. Stone solved that problem by prioritizing the things that matter most when forgetting is dangerous. It doesn't require power. It doesn't depend on networks. It doesn't need maintenance schedules or updates. And it never loses its place. The warning stays exactly where the danger is. In some professions, we'd say that safety codes are written in blood, meaning the rules exist because someone once paid for the absence of the rule. These stones work the same way. Memory made durable. Long before cloud storage, humans wrote their most important warnings in stone, because memory fails faster than disasters do. The stones don't tell us what to do next. That's what makes them uncomfortable. Rules that seem excessive, margins that look wasteful, warnings that don't explain themselves anymore. We have been warned. The question is whether we still remember why. So here's the ounce. If a boundary has held for generations, the right question isn't whether we can move it, it's why it was drawn there in the first place. The stone doesn't predict the future. It doesn't have to. It simply marks where reality once reached. And that's it. An ounce submitted for your consideration. If this story about boundaries and ancient warnings carved in stone got you thinking, share it with your favorite rule breaker. And if you want more stories like this, like and subscribe. Thanks.